How do you like the Pats win on Sunday? Are you impressed?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good step in making for belief of the program, because I think after Gerard said what he said in London after that game, and that got the amount of attention that it did, and you're dealing with reality here, and the reality is the players aren't living in a bubble. They hear everything that's going on outside the building too, and so does everybody else in the organization. And so it sort of felt like an inflection point for Gerard Mayo's program, and how are these guys going to respond, and what's it going to look like? And I thought you saw the fight you wanted to see. You saw a team that had made adjustments the way you'd want them to make adjustments. I think overall it was really, really good. And even like the resilience to deal with the Drake Maye injury. And I think you could make the argument that, when Drake went down, he was your best player, which probably says something about where the roster is, that your rookie quarterback's your best player. But I think, he was probably your best player at that point. To be able to compartmentalize that and rally behind Jacoby Brissett, I don't know how you come out of that game with complaints. I'm sure we'll find ways, but I don't know how you come out of that game with many complaints.
Well, I do think that the measuring stick that they gave for themselves related to running the ball, stopping the run, as being a tough team on that front, they did an okay job. It wasn't like they had a...
Well, no, I mean,
they dropped that number down to $112 instead of $185.
Well, I think they committed to running the ball, and maybe they weren't as effective as you would have liked them to be. But I do think, and I talked to Jacoby about this right after the game, like that call on fourth and inches, yeah, right? Where they score the winning touchdown. It does not get more simple than what they did there. And that is we think we're going to be able to get the push to get our guy into the end zone, and you can't stop it. And
they didn't get great push.
It doesn't matter. They scored.
There are people that would tell you they're not sure he even scored.
Beetle, it's an attitude call. All right, it's an attitude call. I know you're looking for stuff here, but it's an attitude call. They scored.
That's my job. I do look.
I know. They scored, and to me, there's something you can build on there. Again, the idea that this team should be at 5 or 6 wins is patently insane. This is a bad roster, maybe the worst roster in the league. But I think you saw the team band together and rally behind its head coach, and those are all good signs. What does it mean going forward? We'll see. I think they'll have done a good job if they get to 4 or 5 wins this year. I haven't moved much off of where I think of them as a roster, but just as far as we've talked about the Dan Campbell example, right? You could tell what the Lions were trying to become.
It's a 3-year build.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see what they in that game. You saw what they wanted to be. They can't be it yet, but you saw what they want to be.
Listen, I'll give you this. I'll give you everything you said because we agree on most of it. If they get to 5 wins, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to get to 5 wins coming into the year. I don't expect them to get there now. And if they do, just from my view, will have exceeded expectations for the year. Mm-hmm. So I do think it's positive. I don't know that they made a lot of big football strides in this game. I do think the fact that they didn't quit on the year and on their coach is the thing you take away from it. How many teams have you seen over the years that in that spot just completely check out and shut it down and they suck and they're done? And there were points in that game where I thought, is this happening? The drops from the receivers were eye-opening. They're really bad. But that's not what it was.
That receiver room
is a problem.
Yeah. I mean, let's call it what it is. There continue to be issues coming out of that one part of the team, which is clearly a problem and something that I'm sure has been addressed and needs to continue to be addressed.
Yeah. But I do think you're right. I think the thing you take away from it is banding together, not quitting on the coach, playing hard at the end of the game, trying to win that game. I mean, that's all true. So that's what I take away from it. They're not quitting. They're not quitters. They're trying to win.
So they're
not shutting it down.
Here's my thing. I think at the beginning of the year, the conundrum for this team is in week 1, they showed us their path to victory. I don't think Gerard's wrong saying it's unsustainable. It's just it's a very narrow path. If you're trying to win games the way they won that game in week 1, that's a narrow path in the NFL in 2024. And I think part of the problem over the weeks in between the 2 wins was they started just pulling levers and trying different stuff, and they got away from what the foundation of the team has to be for them to try to win games. And I think they got back to it in this game. Now, did it work fabulously? No, it didn't. But I think you see what the foundation is and what they need to do to be competitive in games. And I don't think it's going to produce very many wins, but I do think that it probably gives them the best chance to win still, rather than being all over the place, which is, I think, the point to which they got out of frustration and not winning games over the 6-game losing streak.
Drake Maye got concussed last Sunday. Is there a chance he plays on Sunday, Bert? Where is he in the protocol? We thought he was at stage 3 yesterday.
Yeah, well, being out there on the practice field on Wednesday gives him a very real shot to play. So we'll see where he is today, but they have to put him through. There's like the first day of practice where you're putting him through some like baseline stuff, and then they have to see him get through a full practice, which maybe that's today. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard for guys who go into the protocol to get cleared in time for a game. It's like almost impossible if they're playing on a Thursday, and really hard if they're playing on a Sunday. But if you're out there on the first day of practice for the week, which is Wednesday, then you have a shot. And everything I heard was that like he seemed okay coming out of the game. I don't know if you were around him at all after the game, but like it seemed like he was all right coming out of it. So
he talked to Gerard at halftime, said he wanted to go back into the game. But my experience is, you go to that blue tent, you go in to the locker room, you're never coming out.
Yeah,
you didn't pass anything out there. You're not going to pass anything inside.
Right.
So, do you think they're pushing him to get him out? Or not? I don't mean to.
You can't
sound that way.
No, you can't.
But do you think that he's pushing to play? Do you think?
Of course he is. Like I think he absolutely is. Like I think probably seeing Jacoby play lights a little fire under you too. But of course he is. Like he's like any other player. Like he badly wants to be out there, and he was making real progress. And I'm sure he's happy that the team won on Sunday. But there's, I'm sure, part of it where you're like, all right, like I want to prove that I'm still the best quarterback for the team. So yeah, absolutely, he wants to play.
So the team does,
but it doesn't matter because like there's no like you have to. It's black and white.
But the team does have this influence, and that is they can slow him down.
They could, yeah.
Teams can slow you down. Hey, Drake, he's up. We're not going to send you out for the full practice yet. And the team can kind of do that to him to slow him down.
If they wanted to, they could.
So you can't really push him or speed it up, but you can slow it down in ways. Would you slow it down? If I were them, I would.
See, it's just so black and white, but it's like a black and white thing. And that's the thing. Is like I understand what you're saying.
I would just be extra cautious with it. It's a lost season. Like they're not going anywhere.
No, I know, but like, is there really a difference between putting him out there this week versus week 10?
Yes.
I mean, like now you're playing doctor. You know what I mean? Like now you're.
Well, no, they have their own doctors who would tell you the same thing. That
So,
would,
but
would
if-
say,
but if the
hey,
doctor-
the more time you
Yeah,
have
no,
between
but-
potential
but now,
concussions is better.
But now we're talking about something else. Like, right? Like if a doctor told me, if a team doctor or someone else told me he would benefit from, then yes, right? Like we can clear him, but he would benefit from the extra week. If that's what the doctor is telling you, then yeah, you take the extra precaution. If the doctor is telling you he's good to go, then I think you listen to him. Like,
Bert, I think every player who gets concussed and has more time before they hit the field.
I agree with that. I agree with
I think
that.
every doctor would tell you, yeah, the more time before you go back is better for you.
I agree with that. But
So-
but we're getting like I just
I'm not talking a month. I'm talking a week.
if the football people are getting involved in medical decisions, I think you're getting into a really murky area. Like that's you. It's just a bad, like it's a tough precedent to set. I think you have to.
It's just not a
I don't know, you
major
play,
medical
listen-
decision. It's like, hey,
listen
just
to your doctors.
all you're saying
I
is
mean-
take a game off. Take one game off before you come back.
Like, is there the
That's
medical
not a
proof
crazy
that
thing.
The longer you wait in between concussions, the better you will be on
Yes.
the second one. Like, is that proven though? Like,
Yes, it is.
There is proof of that. Like, but again, like I don't know if he is symptom free, and now do you do this with another player? And now, like I there's
This
just,
year,
like,
yes.
there are all sorts of precedents that this sets. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where it's like it's just I'm uncomfortable going into that because it's like I'm not a doctor.
He's also your future franchise
Yeah, he
quarterback. It's not
is.
like we're talking about some, 53rd man who's playing, on
He is.
special teams.
He is.
There's
And
a difference in how
he
you
is,
treat
he
players.
is. And if this is like a Thursday night game, I would say yes. No way you put him back out there. It's like the Tua thing. One of the reasons the Tua thing looked so bad was because it was happened on a Sunday. They didn't like he wasn't deemed to have had a concussion. Everybody saw what happened on the field, and then he's in the fencing posture 5 days later. I think there are different degrees of it. Like it's just without the information, I'm comfortable. I'm uncomfortable saying like yes, hold him back. Now I would say if there's like a gray area and you can afford and it's like, hey, look, like, like the doctor comes to you, it's like, hey, look, like let's give him the extra week. Then yeah, you listen, you 100% listen. But I'm letting the medical people guide those decisions. I do not want and I don't think Drake Maye would want to make those decisions either. Like, I don't think that's a football decision. I think it's a medical decision. I think you listen to the doctor.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.